I'm Rob Marriott. I'm an associate professor in the Faculty of Science, Department of Chemistry. I originally got my bachelor's and master's from the University of Lethbridge, a couple hours south of here, and then did my PhD at Dalhousie University in Halifax. So I taught Chem 371, which is our quantum chemistry course, and that's in the second year. And it looks at symmetry, molecular quantum type calculations, and allows us to put together some fundamental concepts which we use to understand the deeper chemistry courses. And then I also teach Chem 203, which is the second semester of our first year chemistry, which is the physical chemistry portion of our curriculum, which goes over changes such as volumetric changes, temperature changes, etc. when we have chemical reactions or chemical changes going on. So why I became a professor, I like working with my hands, so I like lab work and I like the research and I like fundamental discovery. So the research is really important to me, and I also really enjoy teaching. So I'm really in the best position that I can be in because I'm allowed to teach and do research at the same time. My dream job, I'm living it, this is it. Biggest academic accomplishment for me is actually getting my faculty position. It's actually quite rare to get a faculty position in Canada, and especially for myself to come back into a city that I grew up in and be able to do what I love here. So that's the biggest academic accomplishment for me. I did a little bit of everything in undergraduate. I did a lot of studying, but I also got out and got to see a lot of cabarets and lived some of the upbeat life on campus as well. So I enjoyed myself, and I think that all students should. So I understand that cell phones are a fact of life now, and everybody's got them, and we actually use the devices in class to pull for questions, but I really don't like it when people take pictures of me and my slides. And I especially don't like when people take videos, and I sort of feel like coming to class adds value both for me as a teacher and for my students. And if we're going to take pictures and not write things down or listen, then what's the point of coming to class? We might have well just gone and learned this on an online course. So that's one of the things that I don't like, and maybe it'll grow on me in the future, but for now it makes me really uncomfortable. So I have two teenage boys who play baseball competitively and volleyball, so almost all my spare time during the winter and during the spring is actually watching baseball and volleyball, and it's a fantastic way to spend my evenings. And I also like watching hockey. So those are the primary things that I do, and I'm not in renovation season. I started out before university working with my hands in the trades, and so in my own house I still do a lot of woodworking, and I think I'm somewhat talented because my wife hasn't asked me to remove any of my woodworking from the house. I'll do just about anything, so I've probably done a lot of crazy things. I've gone bungee jumping from the top of a soccer stadium. I've swam with sharks off of the south coast of Africa. So those are a couple of things that I can think of, but pretty much I'll do anything once. Snakes, I don't like snakes. Yeah, I've always had pets. Right now I've got one cat, two dogs, including a Saint Bernard, and fish. Favorite movie or television show, I think I'm a chemist, so I've got to say Breaking Bad. Sweet chili heat Doritos. My family, my cell phone, and my truck. So during the semester when I'm teaching, I'm sleeping probably about 5 to 6 hours a night because you have additional duties which you have to get done, and then if I'm not teaching, probably more like 6 or 7 hours a night. So teaching first year chemistry, I have a couple pieces of advice or takeaways for my students. The first is to ask questions and question your professors. Oftentimes we make mistakes, and it actually helps if we can interact a little bit more with you. The second one is for the first year chemistry students is I try to bring up examples throughout my lectures to bring home the point that most world problems we can understand and solve using first-year chemistry. So for students that want to get into research, I think they should get into it early. So even if you can get into a summer research position after your first year, it really helps to gain a little bit more research experience as you go along during your undergraduate. We also have, most departments have independent studies where you can research with a professor during the semester for course credit, and I think these are fantastic ways to get involved in research, which is what you need to succeed down the road. All right, 2 hydrogen atoms walk into the bar, and the one hydrogen atom says, "Oh no, I think I've lost an electron," and the other one says, "Are you positive?" So since it's been pointed out to me that some other professor has already told the joke about the 2 atoms that walked into the bar, I'll have to tell the joke about the physicist and the mathematician that walked into the bar. They've sat down having their beer, and the physicist is complaining about the state of education in the world, and the mathematician looks back and says, "I really don't think it's that bad." And the physicist says, "Look, I'll bet you if we call that waitress over there and ask her a math question, she wouldn't even know how to do a simple integral." And the mathematician says, "All right, you're on." The physicist gets up to go to the washroom, and the mathematician calls the waitress over and he says, "Listen, when my buddy comes back, we're going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer the natural logarithm of x." And she looks at him with kind of a strange look. She says, "Well, okay." When the physicist gets back then, the physicist calls the waitress over and he says, "Can you tell me what the integral of 1 over x is?" And she looks down at the mathematician, she says, "The natural logarithm of x." And then she looks at the 2 of them all disgusted and she says, "Plus a constant," and walks away.
Welcome to Dr. Nerd's Lab!